Let's get started by typing reflex.dev into the browser to explore Reflex, a powerful Python framework for building web apps, chatbots, image generation, charts, and custom components, perfect for building modern web applications. Next, let's head over to the documentation page to get started. Click on the installation section to see how to set up Reflex. Since I'm using Windows, I'll click on the Windows tab to see the specific instruction for setting up a Python virtual environment. Here, you'll find all the commands you need to create a project folder, set up a Python virtual environment, install Reflex, and initialize your first Reflex project. Now, let's open the local terminal to start setting up our project. First, I'll create a new folder for the project. And navigate into it using the cd command. Let's check the Python and pip version to ensure all requirements are met. This is an important step to avoid any compatibility issues later. Now I'll create a local virtual environment for the project using this command. This will keep our dependencies isolated from the global Python installation. To open the project in my code editor, I'll type code dot, which launch Visual Studio Code. Notice the .vnv folder here. This is our virtual environment, which will active in a moment. Let's switch back to the terminal and Reflex documentation to continue the setup. Now I'll active the virtual environment using the command shown here. This ensures that any packages we install will be specific to the project. Next, I'll check if pip is installed and up to date. Pip is essential for installing Python packages, including Reflex. With pip ready, I'll install Reflex by running the installation command provided in the doc. Reflex is now installed. This might take a moment depending on your internet speed. To initialize the Reflex project, I'll type reflex init. This sets up the basic structure for our app. Let's go back to the documentation to see the available starter templates. I'll choose the blank template by selecting option 0. This gives us a clean set to build our app, or you can just enter. According to the docs, we can run the app using the command reflex run. Let's try that. But before we run the app, let's take a quick look at the files and folders created by reflex.init. Here, you can see the project structure, including folders like .vnv, .web, assets, as well as configuration files like rfconfig.py. Now, let's run the app using reflex run. This will start the development server. The app is now running. The front end is hosted on the localhost port 3000, and the backend is running on port 8000. Let's open the app in the browser. I'll open a new tab and type localhost 3000 to see the app. Oops, we hit an error page. It looks like the app stopped running in the terminal. Let's restart the app using the same command. Once it's running again, we'll refresh the browser. Success! The Reflex starter page is now visible. It even comes with a light and dark mode toggle button. Notice the button at the top right corner? This is a built-in feature of Reflex for toggling themes. Let's go back to the code editor to explore the project structure in more detail. Here's a breakdown of the files and folders. .vnv is our virtual environment. .web contains the front-end build files. Asset is for static files like images. Coming to down, rxconfig.py is the main configuration file. And requirements.txt is a list of all dependencies. And the Reflex tutor is folder contains our app code, including reflex-tutor, same with our project name, where we'll write our logic. In the main script, you'll see a state class for backend logic, an index function for the front-end view, and an app variable to initialize the app. Let's make a quick edit to the header. I'll change Welcome to Reflex to Hello World. And save the file. Back in the browser, the page automatically reloads and the header now says Hello World. Nice! The change is live and Reflex handled the hard reloading seamlessly. Now let's play with the backend. I'll go back to the code editor and edit the state class. I'll add a new property called greeting with a string type and set its initial value to hello world. Next, I'll use this property in the view by replacing the static text with a property in the class type state.greeting. This dynamically displays the greeting. To make the effect more noticeable, I'll set the initial value of greeting to an empty string. The initial header is empty, but when we click the button, header will change. Now I'll create a method called sayHello that updates the greetings property of the class to hello world when called. I'll also change the button text to change greeting to make it clear what the button does. Finally, I'll bind the button's property on click event to the sayHello method. Now, when the button is clicked, the header will update dynamically. Let's go back to the browser and wait for the app to reload. Reflex automatically handles this for us. Notice the reload icon at the bottom of the page. This is a handy feature of Reflex for development. The page reloads and the header is now empty, as expected. Let's click the Change Greeting button. And there it is, the header updates to Hello World instantly. That's it for this tutorial. We've set up a Reflex project, explored its structure, and made dynamic change to the UI. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more coding tutorial.